Hey, HSEstudy family, have you ever wondered why we follow safety operating procedures step by step with no shortcuts? Let me tell you something that'll give you chills. Every line in an SOP is written in blood. Someone got burned, crushed, electrocuted, or didn't make it home. That's why those steps exist. Today, I'm sharing a story from a chemical plant in Texas where one skipped step led to a deadly explosion. Stick with me. This could save your life. Welcome back to HSEstudy, your home for real safety stories that hit hard and teach harder. We're diving into a heartbreaking tragedy caused by ignoring a safety operating procedure, or SOP. This isn't just about checking boxes for an OSHA training quiz, it's about making sure you and your crew go home to your families every single day. We'll break down what happened, why SOPs are your lifeline, and how to make them work for you. Hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Here's the harsh reality: ignoring SOPs kills. OSHA reports thousands of workplace injuries and deaths every year in the US, with chemical plants, construction sites, and manufacturing facilities being high-risk zones. When workers skip procedures, whether it's handling chemicals, operating machines, or entering confined spaces, disasters happen. I've heard stories that break my heart. A worker burned in a flash fire because he skipped a grounding step. A mother who lost her son because no one followed the SOP for a confined space. These aren't just stats. They're real people with loved ones left grieving. Companies that fail to enforce SOPs face massive OSHA fines, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and lawsuits that can shut them down. But no fine can bring back a life or ease a family's pain. That's why safety operating procedures are the backbone of workplace safety. So, what are SOPs and why do people skip them? SOPs are your battle plan against hazards. Step-by-step instructions for doing a job safely, whether it's mixing chemicals, climbing a scaffold, or running a CNC machine. They're required by OSHA standards like 29 CFR 1910.119 for process safety management or 1910.120 for hazardous waste operations. SOPs eliminate guesswork, reduce errors, and keep you alive. But here's the problem. Workers get complacent. They think, I've done this 100 times. I don't need the checklist. Pressure to move fast, lack of training, or weak leadership can make SOPs feel like a nuisance. That's when mistakes happen. In a chemical plant, one wrong move with a flammable solvent can spark a catastrophe. Hazard recognition and safety training are critical, but only if SOPs are followed every time. Let me tell you about a tragedy that still haunts me. In a chemical blending facility in Texas, a senior technician named Mark was topping up a solvent tank. He'd done it countless times, knew the job like the back of his hand. The SOP called for wearing PPE, grounding the tank to prevent static sparks, and using a checklist with a supervisor's sign-off. But Mark was in a rush. No PPE, no grounding, no checklist. He thought, it's just a quick top-up. What he didn't know? The tank wasn't properly grounded. One static spark ignited the solvent vapors, and the explosion ripped through the blending room. Mark didn't survive. 3 coworkers were hospitalized with burns. It took firefighters 45 minutes to contain the blaze. OSHA's investigation found the company had a written SOP, but didn't enforce it. No supervisor sign-off, no refresher training, no accountability. They were fined $178,000, but Mark's wife didn't care about the money. She just wanted her husband back. His coworkers still carry the guilt, wondering if they could have spoken up. Let's get practical because I want you to be an SOP expert. First, always follow the SOP exactly. No shortcuts. Whether it's grounding a tank, locking out a machine, or checking a confined space, every step matters. Read the procedure before you start, even if you've done it before. Second, make sure your SOPs are up to date. OSHA requires regular reviews to match current hazards and equipment. If something's unclear or missing, tell your supervisor. Third, demand training. You need to understand every step and why it's there. OSHA mandates it for hazardous tasks. Fourth, hold each other accountable. If you see someone skipping a step, call it out. It's not nagging, it's saving lives. And if you're a leader, enforce SOPs with regular audits and sign-offs. One tip, keep a pocket copy of your most used SOP. A quick glance can remind you of a step you might miss under pressure. Here's the bottom line. SOPs are written in blood because every skipped step has cost someone their life. Mark's death wasn't just a mistake. It was a failure of enforcement, training, and a safety culture that let quick jobs bypass procedures. We've covered fall protection and LOTO before, but SOPs are the foundation of accident prevention. By following them, reviewing them, and living them, you're not just complying with OSHA, you're keeping your team alive. Let's build a culture where no one treats an SOP like a dusty binder, where safety is personal and every worker is family. So, HSEstudy family, what's the closest call you've seen when someone skipped an SOP? Ever had to speak up to enforce a procedure? Drop it in the comments. I'm reading every single one. If Mark's story hit you hard, smash that like button and share this with your crew. Let's keep learning, stay safe, and make every workplace accident-proof.